my God, that sword is forged from the fires of hell, y'all. That's awesome. Art is back, baby, and he's a naughty boy. I'm reviewing Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 is the newest horror film from Damien Leone, and it is in theaters right now. It is directed by Damien Leone. It stars David Howard Thornton, Lauren Lavera, and Elliot Fulham. This is when I normally say that I'm going to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible, so I don't ruin the film for you if you do want to see it. However, I am going to do that, but there are going to be a couple little points that I touch on that I just have to touch on in this film. Some of it may be triggers, and some of it might be the direction that this film went into that I just have to talk about. It won't ruin the film for you, regardless. I'm sure you're all very familiar with the Terrifier franchise, or you've heard of it. This is the third film, of course, in the franchise, hence 3. This film, once again, follows Sienna. She has been released recently from a mental institution, and Art the Clown comes back to try to finish what he started. She moves in with her aunt and uncle and her niece Gabby, who's a precious little girl, and her brother is currently enrolled in college, trying to do the best he can to live a normal life. They are well known within the true crime community and actually have a name now, so they can get recognized on the street, which is kind of wild. If you watch my channel at all, you know that I am a huge fan of the Terrifier franchise. I think it's wonderful and fabulous, and I know it has a lot of controversy because of how gory it is, but I, for one, love the gore. I reviewed the first film with Gruesome Magazine even before it actually came out and loved it. As soon as I saw the realistic special effects in that film, I was hooked. I just could not believe how everything moved and how it looked, and it just intrigued me. And the second film just upped the ante so much. Well, obviously, the gore is a lot more prevalent, a lot more in your face, and there's a lot more of it. And the film takes a really big, kind of crazy supernatural twist to it and goes in an amazing direction. And let me tell you, this film, once again, takes it up another level. I feel like with the first Terrifier film, it felt more real, more grounded. Now, it was crazy and wild and off the wall and had a tinge of supernatural. The second film upped that, made it more supernatural, more crazy, more over the top, and very surreal. What happened would not be able to happen in real life. With Terrifier 3, it definitely goes up a notch. The gore here is definitely even more over the top, more grindhouse. The entire film feels very 70s and 80s. I can't say that it belongs in either decade because it definitely has the feel of both at points. But it definitely has that super bloody, super gory, grindhouse feel. And the color of the blood feels very, very 70s and 80s. It almost has a giallo type feel. The cinematography here is wonderful. Now, there's nothing groundbreaking, there's not any crazy kinetic shots, but I love the lighting and the set design with it. It really does feel like a period Christmas piece. I loved all of the Christmas lights. They are everywhere. They definitely went over the top with that. The red is just the most beautiful shade of red. I think I love the color of blood. It's so gorgeous. Damien used all of my favorite colors here, black, red, and white, and I love them all together. It's like my favorite color scheme in the world. And it also happens to be Santa's costume, so it works out perfectly. Partially, it's the color grading on this film that make it so fun and vibrant, but the black and the white and the red really do pop and look amazing together. I should talk about Art's look because I have to say that Art looks the most beautiful he has looked in any of the films here. And the prosthetics seem to be sharper and more angular, and the face is super paled out. It is, I feel like it's whiter than it's ever been. Like, it was so white. And then with the black and the white, it just looked really gorgeous. Like, I was looking at the makeup and I was like, damn, that looks so good. So not only did he look better, he even animated more. In this film, he has significantly upped his game. It seems like with each film, he gets progressively more animated, and in this one, he is on fire. He is like, he is all over the place here, and I loved it. I thought he was fabulous and fantastic. It was a really, really fun watch for me because of that. Lauren, once again, gave an amazing performance as Sienna. I just absolutely loved her. And I was a little bit shocked to see Jason Patric as her father, which was super awesome. And of course, he's fabulous on screen. I just love him. There was even some amazing cameos. One by Clint Howard. Oh my God, Clint Howard, y'all. I was like, oh my God, that's Clint Howard. And Tom Savini. Of course, Tom Savini is a great actor. And he did a great job in his little cameo here as like someone being interviewed. It was very funny and very unhinged and very Tom Savini. This franchise is super duper duper gory. It is excessively gory, excessively bloody, excessively violent. But in this film, it does take it to another level and is a little bit more shocking because some of the violence has to do with, surrounding Christmas. And who loves Christmas? Well, I think we know who loves Christmas. When I reviewed Terrifier 2, one of the things that I said was, Damien Leone will lose me if he does anything with the children. You gotta leave the children alone. Leave the children alone, Damien. Nope, that's it. That's my line. And it appears that Damien has said, here, hold my beer. Watch this, and guess what? You're gonna like it. And I did. I don't know how. I would have told you this was not possible, but somehow it was done in a way that made it palatable and didn't upset me and didn't bother me, and I don't know why. Part of it was that a lot of that was off screen, thank God. Truth be told, I laughed most of the way through this film. There were a few other people in my theater. I think I only had a theater filled with like 6 people total. It was very small. And I was the only one laughing and I felt awkward, but a lot of it was very funny to me. This is not real life, y'all. This is meant to be crazy and otherworldly and something just for entertainment. And it's just kind of pretty in a way to watch. I love red. This film gives even more lore. Like, we learn quite a bit here, and I was thrilled about that because after the second film, I was really dying to know more. I was like, what do we have here? What is happening here? What is going on? Like, where is this gonna go? And y'all, this is going straight to hell, okay? I'm gonna give you something, I'm gonna say something, and I have to say it because it just filled me with such joy and made me a little bit giddy. But yeah, there is an entire religious turn to this film, and my jaw was like dropping, and I was like, oh my God, that sword is forged from the fires of hell, y'all. That's awesome. So that made me happy, and I thought it was kind of cool. I'm fine. It couldn't get any better. I was like, oh my gosh. So let me tell you, there was like the best use of a crown of thorns like I've ever seen. It was so beautiful. I just loved the way that it looked and just, y'all, so clever. I really loved where this went. I know that there are some Terrifier fans who are not crazy about the supernatural aspect that Damien has brought into the franchise, but I, for one, could not disagree more. I absolutely love the supernatural aspect of this film. It is what makes it for me. It is what makes it so interesting and so compelling. Just sitting around watching this dude just go around and with nothing to it is, it's not that exciting to me. It doesn't fill a purpose. And I feel like this film is trying to tell a very grand story at its core, because let me tell you, there is a lot going on with this story. I definitely feel like if you're going to see this film, that you should watch the first one and the second one and then this one again, because I totally think that the story elements will help a ton here. I was with someone who has never seen a Terrifier film at all. They only watched this one, and while they thought the gore was interesting, they didn't understand a ton of the film, of course, because a lot of the film and a lot of the lore is just completely lost if you watch them out of order. I think you could probably get away with just watching 2 and 3, but I would watch them all because they're great. And then, of course, if you're really interested, of course, there's All Hallows Eve, which also features Art the Clown, but it is not played by David Howard Thornton. Honestly, David Howard Thornton is Art the Clown, and he is fabulous. He is wonderful in my opinion. There's some stuff for sure that is left definitely open-ended in this film. Terrifier 3 is just the perfect setup for Terrifier 4, and maybe 5. It is confirmed that there will be a 4th film, and it is possible that there might be a 5th film. While Damien said for sure a 4th, it might take 2 films to tell the rest of the story. I love where this is going. It's like a super, super, super dark horror fantasy, and that's wild. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, he keeps topping himself. Terrifier was awesome. I loved it. Terrifier 2 topped it. It was my favorite, and Terrifier 3 is now my favorite in the series. So I feel like that's a lot of pressure. I feel super bad for Damien. I mean, this must be very intimidating. I mean, he's very smart, and I know he has like the whole story in his head and stuff, because I totally think he's that kind of person. But man, what kind of pressure must that be? I know it's gonna be awesome, though. I'm really excited for Terrifier 4. I wonder how long it's gonna be before we actually see it, though. It's obvious that Terrifier 4 is going to go to new depths. It's going to be crazy, it's going to be wilder, and it's probably gonna be off the rails. Like, I think this is gonna be a whole new level of Terrifier, and I'm super excited about that. If you want a cool slasher that is not as stoic as Michael Myers, but not as vocal as Freddy Krueger, then Art the Clown is the perfect in-between for you. He's got such a beautiful animation, but he keeps his mouth shut. It's good, man. People are probably gonna be mad at that. It's just a joke, okay? Are you a fan of the Terrifier franchise? Are you planning on seeing Terrifier 3? And how do you feel about this being the newest Christmas horror classic? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do hope that you have the most amazing day, my spooky darling. I would like to say a big, wonderful thank you to my Patreon members. And we have a new Patreon member, Robert. Thank you so much, Robert. Along with Chris Music Tino, Jimmy Hoare, Eddie, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, Mickey B, and Deal Demon.